outrageous what the war in Ukraine is causing. And we're trying very hard to make sure that we've significantly increased the number of barrels of oil that are being pumped out of the reserve.
He won't ditch that script, will he? President Biden continues to blame Putin for record high gasoline prices. He does it again and again and again. Today, we have a new all-time high. The national average, $5.01 a gallon for regular unleaded. Some of the nation's leading food suppliers and restaurant chains, including Kraft, Campbell's Soup, and McDonald's, are warning that their prices, will keep climbing. Joining me now, North Carolina Congressman Ted Budd. He's a member of the Financial Services Committee and candidate for U.S. Senate. Congressman Budd, good to see you. Why won't Biden shake the lies and at least find, well, because again, you create a problem, deny there's a problem, and then blame somebody, anybody, everybody for that problem rather than taking some personal responsibility?
You know, it's the old liberal strategy of deny everything and launch counterattacks. It's exactly what they're doing. When I'm out here across all 100 counties in North Carolina, I'm talking to people, particularly a secretary that I heard about last week that's a year away from retirement, doesn't know if she can make the commute to work with the current gas prices in order to make it to retirement a year out. Talked to a construction business owner yesterday who doesn't know if he can keep his doors open and continue to serve his customers with these prices. It's costing him up to $1,000 more per week. And this is absolutely ridiculous. It's not Putin's fault. We were a net exporter until Biden came in and began having a hostile, anti-energy, anti-American energy policy.
And you're reading more and more about police departments in corners of the country have run through their fuel budgets, and their ability to enforce the laws and protect the residents is being hurt by the record fuel prices.
Yeah, this is not just about defunding the police on the left. This is about defunding everybody and centralizing power in the government. The only transition that, as Joe Biden says, is we need to transition him out of office. We need to transition Democrats out of power and take back control. Like they say, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. And that's exactly what we need to do. Re-strengthen, have a pro-energy American policy, and that is exactly opposite of what Joe Biden is doing to the American people.
Moving on to this, about $863 million in taxpayer-funded COVID relief money was given to federal prisoners, including the Boston Marathon bomber. This is $80 million more than the administration previously admitted. Congressman, does big government fail at every turn? This is astonishing.
Yeah, government needs to be local. It needs to be put back in the power of the people. It needs to be sent back to the states. But what you see here is something it took us 5 months to get this out of the Biden administration. It happened. It was multiple letters to Janet Yellen, the secretary. I sit on the House Financial Services Committee, and I had to confront her in a hearing to get the truth. And then it took her another month to get a letter out saying that they had actually spent $780 million taxpayer dollars sending stimulus checks at $1,400 a check, a pop, to federal prisoners. This is money that needs to be in the hands of the American people, especially right now. It's their money. It's not the government's money, and they certainly don't need to be sending it to federal prisoners.
Christian White, and jump in here.
Well, Congressman, can I go back to oil for a second? You know, you're up there trying to actually increase production and reduce federal regulations and the Biden administration's crimping of U.S. energy production. You know, Biden went after Exxon the other day, and I'd say Exxon's response was measured at best. I worked for Rex Tillerson before. He had previously been the CEO of Exxon. I don't think he'd take this sitting down. You have all these woke companies out there that jump into politics at the drop of the hat. Delta, Coca-Cola, Disney picked a fight it probably wished it hadn't have picked with DeSantis in Florida. Why aren't energy companies and oil companies fighting back? Is that a frustration for you up there in Congress when the companies that should be fighting back against this administration are awfully quiet?
Yeah, a lot of this happens at the board level. There's been a decades-long attack to bring left, woke, pro-ESG type people, even before we had ever heard of what ESG, or environmental social governance movement, into the boardrooms. That doesn't represent the interest of the shareholders, or doesn't serve the interest of the American people as well. You get people like Tesla, which are considered to be non-woke or non-ESG companies, which is electrified, and then you get companies like Exxon, which are pro-ESG. It doesn't make sense. It's unworkable. It's not in the favor of the economy. It's not in the favor of their own shareholders, and it's certainly not in favor of the American people.
Before we go, Congressman, you're running for Senate in North Carolina. Give us an update.
Yeah, things are looking good. I think, of all the Republicans, of even the Democrats that are running, and now I have an opponent, Sherry Beasley, I think she needs to answer for sending stimulus checks and all the Democrats voting to send stimulus checks to federal prisoners. Tom Cotton had an amendment not to do that, and we need to make sure that she wouldn't be in favor of sending money to federal prisoners. But I'm the only one that visited all 100 counties in North Carolina. She's run for office, or at least this is her 4th time campaigning statewide, and has never been to all 100 counties. Bottom line, she would support the Biden the Biden agenda, and I would not. So this is a clear delineation between the left and the progressive and the woke movement versus those who want to help the American people.
Increasingly, it's being divided between people who are suffering because of inflation and the rich liberals who are not. Congressman Ted Budd, good to see you. Thank you so much. And